Hello, I'm Judith Russell. I live in Bolan in southwest Queensland, and I run a First Nations art gallery in conjunction with my partner Bill Speedy. Bill's a descendant of the Guamu Kuma people from this area. His family all grew up on the riverbank just behind our house and gallery, and he's got a deep connection to this area, and I do too now through my partnership with Bill. If you start off in Brisbane and you point the car west and drive for about 8 hours, you'll find us in Bolan. Bolan has about 130 people. That varies a little bit depending on shearing teams who may or may not be in town. It's a tight-knit little community. We're perched on the banks of the Wallam Creek, which usually has water in it, even during a dreadful drought such as we're in now. We have a functioning post office, fully functioning post office. We have Deb's Cafe. We have a fuel station that also sells produce and groceries. We have the famous Bolan Hotel, and we have a school that goes up to year 6 with probably about 16 kids in it at the moment. We have 2 police here in town, a sergeant and a senior constable, and we have the Nullawokka First Nations Gallery and tours. We have a featured artist who's a friend of Bill's. His name is Tommy Crow, and he's a very well-known artist. He's been based in Central Australia for many years, and we feature quite a lot of his original artworks. He's very well known for his sunset dreaming style, which is stick figures on a very vibrant background. So they're very, very popular. We sell a range of other unique gifts and artefacts, such as painted emu eggs, natural emu eggs, little handmade baskets, a range of different gifts and other products that we've found over the years that we use, such as Australian creams or soaps that are all made here in Australia, and feature the sort of pure Australian essences such as emu oil or lemon tea tree. At the moment we advertise our business through Instagram and Facebook. We're not really proficient with Facebook, but we give it a go, and we're in the process of setting up a website so that we can actually sell our products and advertise all our wonderful artists to a global audience, not just a local audience. We certainly do. We've had quite a few people who have come through Bolan caravanning or camping, and they've rung us up when they've got home to Brisbane or to wherever they live and said, "Oh, I really love that painting, have you still got it?" So we use our local post office, and we posted interstate, we can post overseas. So if a lot of people do actually come through and say, oh, I don't know if I really should take that, we're just starting on our trip, and by the time they get home they realise they haven't seen anything else that good. So we can post anywhere. Oh, absolutely. We struggle out here with our internet and our telephone. We only have 3G internet activity at the moment, and it's not always reliable. It drops out quite a lot. We also have a lot of power blackouts, which is not great for our equipment. So I think everyone in town's been through quite a few computers and laptops and electronic equipment such as TVs, etc. It is quite difficult. If you're trying to upload a photo to Instagram or Facebook, it can take a long time, and then it can drop out just when you're halfway through. So it really is a barrier. It really does make life a little bit more difficult. We have access to satellite NBN, and that is subsidised, so we get a reasonable internet service for not a huge cost, but unfortunately the number of users that can use satellite NBN is restricted. So to make it fair for everybody to have access and be able to download and keep the speeds running reasonably well. Most of the data that we pay for can only be used between 12 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning. So if we're downloading something, you can set it for then, but unfortunately when you're trying to do things during the business hours, it can be still slow. At this stage, no, we haven't. We haven't. We've just relied on our own internet posts, our own Instagram posts and Facebook posts, and we're slowly building up our people who follow us on Instagram. We try and tag in other businesses that we deal with in the area. We also tag in our suppliers because we've developed great relationships with the people who supply us with bush herbs or our beautiful Bollen on the Wallam souvenirs. So if we're doing a post about something, one of our products or one of our artists, we make sure we tag them in, and we tend to use that as well to expand our reach. Word of mouth here, or certainly for our business, is very important. Our business is very personal. We tend to create a relationship with each of our customers. We do walking tours along the creek where Bill explains about his history and his connection to the area, as well as teaching people to track animals, and part of that is developing that relationship with the customer. So they leave feeling like they've had a very individual experience, and through them they advertise. They pass on what a great time they've had. And we've had quite a number of customers come into the shop and say, oh, I was told to come in by my friend so-and-so. They said it was a fantastic gallery, or they said we had to do the tour because it was great. So we're finding that's probably one of our biggest selling points at the moment. We tend to be a little bit proactive there. We've written articles for the local media in the area, and they've been reproduced pretty well faithfully, and supplied some photos and things. Unfortunately, our local paper in St George closed just before we opened our gallery, so we're relying on our fantastic newspaper in Cunnamulla, the southwest, which now covers the Bollen area in St George, Roma, and so that's got quite a broad reach. So they do a great job at promoting anything we're doing, and we make sure that we let them know and try and supply them with a little article here and there. For us, we've been quite lucky in that we came back to Bollen and opened the gallery during the year of COVID. So we actually used that time when we were restricted to travel to set up and renovate the gallery. It was the post office here in Bollen for 140 years, and the current post office licensees have moved the post office to another building in town, and so we took the opportunity to renovate and really set up the building as a First Nations gallery. So COVID in that respect has given us the time to do that, and then we found since people within Queensland were free to travel that we've had a lot of tourists coming out west and coming out to see us and see the area, who had no idea it was so beautiful, had no idea there were so many options available for tourists, things to do, places to stay. So it's been quite positive in some ways. The drought's affected everybody. Unfortunately, it's one of those things. The drought just means there's not as much money in town. We're a business that relies on discretionary spending. We're not selling food. We're not selling something that people have to survive. We're selling life's little luxuries. And we try and keep our prices very reasonable, and we try and get very good quality products for a reasonable price. But even so, people can live without them. So it's been very heartening for us to find that in spite of this crippling drought and COVID, people are still wanting to come out to the West and support small local businesses, and they're deep reaching into their pockets to purchase even a little soap or a card or something, just to put a little bit of money into the community. If we had better access to the internet, that would broaden our reach, broaden our audience, broaden our customer base, and that would give us the opportunity to promote the artists that we're advertising and we're selling in our little gallery. So that would be fantastic. The best thing about living in the bush is our relative freedom, the open skies, even during the most restrictive times of COVID this year, we've been able to just jump in the car and go for a drive for an hour because we haven't seen anybody in an hour's drive. You can do that, that's been lovely. And I think the other thing too is the supportive community. So we've come back to Bollon after a period of 6 or 7 years away, and it's been lovely to be welcomed back and to have that excitement in town that we're starting a new business, that we've got that confidence in Bollon to open a gallery, to promote Bollon, to offer tours to tourists to keep them in town a little bit longer. And we're finding that people in the town are just really welcoming us back and supporting that initiative. Yes. Now we're back in Bollon and we're using Buy from the Bush. We're hashtagging that on our Instagram posts and Facebook posts. And as I said before, we're trying to we tag in our suppliers and other customers, other people that we deal with, as well as our artists, just to get that reach, and also to perhaps they might be leveraging off Buy from the Bush, so it flows on.